Hey everyone, this is T.S. about to do another quick video for you guys. So I want to talk about spiritual things that you should avoid. Maybe some of them could be considered superstitious, but I'm just going to share my point of view. Number one, you guys need to avoid sharing clothes or shoes. Clothes, things that you wear, your shoes, they absorb energy. So when you wear another person's clothes or shoes, you can transfer their burdens, sickness, maybe they're jealous, they have some toxic energy. You're eventually going to bring that shit onto yourself. You know, there's an old saying in the South, don't eat everyone's jambalaya. So with that being said, you need to avoid eating everyone's food. You don't know how these people eat or live or how their lifestyle is, if they're dirty. You know, when I used to work in an office, people would do spreads. And I wouldn't touch that shit because I don't know if they have roaches or how they live. And not only that, but food carries intention. So if that person made that food angry or maybe they're going through some blockages, you know, a lot of that energy will be trapped in the food. And then also food is another way that people can actually perform witchcraft. I won't get into that, but I'll do another video if you guys are interested in finding out how that's performed or how that would work. Letting people sleep in your bed. You know, your bed holds a shadow energy, so letting other people lie in your bed can actually mix their vibration with yours. Simple way to do a quick cleanse, maybe put a glass of water under the bed, or maybe even sage your bed. I always spray my bed with Florida water in the morning before I make it, so just a quick tip. Letting people use your mirror or comb. This could be a little bit more superstitious, but a mirror and a comb somehow connects to your Ori. So, you know, I wouldn't share, you know, personal mirrors, brushes, combs, things of that sort, things that you obviously use to brush your hair, your Ori, your head. I definitely wouldn't share that with anyone. Accepting random gifts from people you don't really fuck with. I've said this before in other videos. You know, objects, gifts can be charged with curses. So be careful who you accept gifts from. Lending money. This is a big one. You guys start lending money to friends and stuff and family members, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're like, yeah, I'll pay you back. And you know they're good for it. But lending money is an exchange of energy. So maybe they're having bad fortune or bad luck with money. And guess what? You just brought that shit onto yourself. So be careful with that. And this is a given, and this is pretty logic, but sharing hygiene products, deodorant, toothbrushes, razors, soap. I have my own personal soap. I don't share my soap. I wouldn't exchange or borrow anything when it comes to hygiene products with anyone that carries aura and DNA, so you want to avoid crossing energies. This is another big one I have to share with you guys. Allowing people to photograph you, especially during rituals. Or during your rituals. Photos capture energy. It's your signature. And so, as you know, people can use your picture to do witchcraft. So if I don't really know you, I don't really fuck with you, you're not going to come in my house and take pictures of my altars. And obviously I'm showing you something here on video, but I have my protections, so it doesn't really apply. But overall, people can take pictures of you, and it could be a jealous friend, an envious friend. And if they know the craft, they can use that shit to harm you. This is another one. Letting people touch your head or hair. The head, the ori, is sacred. So letting people touch your head, in essence, they're stealing your energy. So you must keep your ori aligned by avoiding people touching your hair and touching your head. People are going to say, well, what if I get my hair done? What if I go to the barber? Well, you can cleanse your head afterwards to make sure that any negative attachments that person might have had is removed. And the way that you can do that is simply with some efun or cascarilla. And I like to add a little bit of rum, mix it up, and pour that over my head while I'm in the shower. Discussing your spiritual work, your spiritual beliefs with people. You know, your rituals, your practice should be kept private to protect people from interference or envy, or some people might think of it as something harmful. So to keep it aligned, just keep your things secret. Keep your things sacred. Closed doors. That's what this practice is, closed doors. Another one is taking spiritual baths, amulets, talismans from practitioners that you don't really know. You don't really know how they work. You don't know what they're working with. I've seen people go on Etsy, Amazon, and buy like random shit, random cleanses and stuff. You don't know this person. You don't know what they practice. You don't even know how they live themselves. Hell, they could be doing really bad. And here you are taking an abundant cleanse from someone who's not abundant. Be careful with that. Sleeping with multiple people is another one. Sexual energy transfer, spirit attachments, and ancestral burdens. You're sleeping with multiple people and they're not doing too good. Guess what? You just attached yourself to their energy, their negative spirits, whatever it is that's attached to them. Now it's inside of you. So you may want to consider, if you've been fucking with someone that's not doing too good, this person is obviously, not someone that you see yourself having a long-term commitment with, that you see yourself growing with, but yet you're just casually having sex with this person. You may want to look into this. And the last one I'll share with you guys is leaving your altars uncovered, obviously to people who might come over that you don't really want them to know about your stuff. And that kind of goes into protecting your spiritual practice. Some of these things are closed doors for a reason. Like, obviously, I have certain things that I'm not going to uncover. You can see the outer shell, that's fine. But what's inside, it's taboo to show that. And that's just one of the rules within the practice. So if you have like a spiritual altar and someone comes over, and they shouldn't be coming over if you don't really like them or trust them anyways, but let's just say you have random visitors. There should be a room, a spiritual room or hoodoo room, where you have all your things, where you can close that door and people don't really have to go in there and start touching stuff and seeing what you have. Or if you have like a bóveda espiritual, make sure it's in a part of your house where there's not like a bunch of kids running around touching that stuff. But you want to protect your altars to block wandering energies or jealous energy. Hopefully this video helps you guys. H y bendiciones.